So I'm doing a breakdown on affordable housing and why it's important. Aaliyah Davis, our community liaison for Hope Housing, that's working with some of the local schools that want to learn all about affordable housing, asked me some questions. So I thought the best way to do it was to break it down, and you guys get to be a part of it. So affordable housing is defined primarily by HUD, Texas Department of Housing and Urban Development. Typically, affordable housing goes from 140%, 120% AMI, which AMI is area median income of a particular zip code or district. We're not going to focus on the 140 and the 120. What we're going to focus on are the ones that are really necessary, where we need set-asides for 80% AMI, 50% AMI, and 30% AMI, area median income. Now let's take, so the students that Aaliyah is talking to, they're in McKinney. Area median income in McKinney is over 100,000, 102 to be exact, in this particular zip code, but we're going to use 100,000 as the number. As annual income, and I think it's based on household size, but let's just use 4 people, okay? 100,000. %, AMI of this number is $80,000 a year. In McKinney, if you make $79,900, you qualify to live in affordable housing. That's probably more than 60% of the population of the United States. Why is affordable housing so necessary? Here in McKinney, the average rent for 1 bedroom starts at about $1,400 a month and can go up to $5,000 for a 3 bedroom. But let's assume that this family making $80,000 can only use 30% of their income for housing. So what's that number? 30% of 80,000. Help me out real quick. 27 something.
27,000 and 30% of it?
Yep. 27 what?
I don't know. Wait.
We'll use 27,000 even. That is 30% of that number. If you got a household family of 4, with a $27,000 a year allocation for housing, you're spending somewhere about $2,050 a month to live. You're not gonna find a house, but you may find an apartment for 3 or 4 people for that.
24.
Let's look at the 50%. $50,000 a year is 50% of the area median income of 100,000. Okay? 30% of 50. Help me out real quick. 15 grand. That's annualized. In McKinney, you can't get a 1 bedroom apartment for $15,000 a year. So the person that works at the manager at a restaurant or school teacher, maybe a fireman that's just getting started in the academy, I don't know what they make, but they might make $50,000. They qualify for affordable housing. The 30% number, do the math, that's easy. That's $30,000 a year. 10% of that is $10,000. Where do you live for $10,000 a year in a market where the rents start at $1,500 a month? That's why affordable housing is necessary in these communities. Now, let's take a different look. That's McKinney. Let's look at zip code 75215, Dallas. Area median income was 30,800. That is the area median income. 80% of that number is $20,600. So
It's 24.
it's 24,000? Okay, yeah, that's sure, it's not bad. 24,000 a year,
No, you can keep the 24,600.
okay. If you're spending 30% of this, that's $8,000 a year in rent. Rent, lights, water, sewer, everything, housing. Where do you live in Dallas for $8,000 a year? Think about the people that make 30% of this number. That's $10,000 a year. They can only spend 30%, which is $3,000 a year in housing. Where do you live for $3,000 a year in housing? You don't. Most of the people that are homeless because either they have no address, so they can't get Social Security or any benefits because they don't have an address. They don't have an address because they don't have a driver's license. They don't have a driver's license because they don't have any money to go get one or to pass a background check without warrants because they've been living on the street trying to eat off of $3,000 a year. That's the homeless population, most of it. So, developers that build units for affordable housing, you got this tenant that makes 30% of $30,000. That's, they can use, what did we say it was? Okay, that's 30,000, they got $20,000. 30% of 30,000 is $10,000 a year. They can spend 30% of that on housing. The average apartment in Dallas right now is over probably $1,000 a month. But let's assume that you can find one for $800. They can't pay this. So the way that developer either makes his money is either through a housing voucher, if the housing authorities in the local cities have any vouchers to issue. That rent is $12,000 a year. The tenant can only pay $3,000. The housing voucher, your tax dollars step in and pay the $9,000 as a subsidy for this affordable housing recipient. There are a lot of connotations, negative connotations that go with a household that makes $10,000 a year. No food, water, light. I mean, how do you live on $10,000 a year? Most seniors today, we have some affordable communities. A lot of our seniors in those communities get Social Security income of $772 a month. That's their total income. That's below that. Of course, then they may get some food stamps for assistance. They probably have Medicare for health care, doctor visits. Probably can't afford to pay nobody to take them. That's why in these kind of communities, the death rate is so high because people can't go to the doctor. We ain't gonna get there, but affordable housing, this is why it is necessary. So even in your $100,000 neighborhoods, your parents are making $80,000, $79,999, you qualify. Nobody wants to think about living in affordable housing until they have to. Nobody wants it in their backyard until their mother needs it. That's what the NIMBYs are, not in my backyard. You ain't gonna build that here. We don't want those people here. But those people in an area like McKinney make $80,000 a year. In an area like Prosper, probably make $90,000 a year because it's probably higher income. So that's affordable housing. That's why it's necessary.